Yeah, between two burns. Between two burns, yeah, between two burns. Come and join the convo. Jason and Ethan here to talk, yo. Chillin' while we filling up the room with cigar smoke. Hey, between two burns. Between two burns, yeah, between two burns. This be the show that you like. We always keeping it hype. We got cigars in the mic, talking the pipe and the pint. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Between two burns, off a little bit of a hiatus. We
call it a summer break.
a quick little summer break there. We thought we were back more on track than we actually were.
We got a lot going on.
We overpromised and we underdelivered, which, as you know, is
that's very non-Jason.
Non-Jason, like, that's correct. Yeah, that is not where I like to be with certain things. But yeah, everybody's doing a little something. You were going to the beach again. I'm not calling you out for another beach trip. No big deal.
It was only half a week.
No, it's half a week. I'm teasing you. Had a good time with your family, I presume, and everything like that.
Sure.
Checked in.
No,
checked in on the beach
good.
location. And everything
I
like
got
that.
to see Cole.
Got to see Cole. Shout out Cole. So we're back. We're in. We are. It feels like fall outside today. It's going to be warm, but
it's
like
beautiful.
It feels like summer is wrapping up, and that we're headed into like. I don't want to say selling season because that's not totally accurate because we've
fall event season.
Yeah, that probably is a better way of describing it. Fall event season. We have a lot of things planned in the fall. We just had our last cigar club of the summer here at the Durham store with Jamie at My Father, which went really, really well. We've got golf tournament coming up. We've got our fall cookout for homecoming coming up.
We got comedy night here in
We
Durham.
got comedy night September 19th. If you're a fan and you're listening, Big Joe Wills will be here.
Very excited.
Very excited for that.
Most stoic comedian in the industry.
Yeah. cut ice with his eyes.
That's right.
But he tells us he's funny. He has to prove it to us, but he tells us he is funny. So a little bit of a, kind of as we're wrapping up the summer, kids back in school, I think we see a different pattern of things. I wanted to do just kind of a chop session pod, if you will, kind of a recap of some things that I want to talk about that have happened over the last month. I told you a few things about them and kind of let you see, but I wanted to kind of get your kind of input and instant reaction and talk about it because some of it is some cigars that we've talked about in the past. Some of it is new cigars that are coming. Some of it is happenings in the world that I think affect us, affect the business in general. So I want to talk a little bit about those things. We have talked a lot about like what cigars have come in. We've really harped on like what we thought of Legacy. So that's one of the things I want to talk about because, a couple of the reviews have come out about it and stuff like that. But I'm gonna break out the computer. I've given you some notes, and I want to. A lot of these these articles were kind of reported everywhere, and we've seen them. But I took the notes from Half Wheel. If you're listening, if you ever want to catch up on the happenings in the cigar world, Half Wheel's kind of
they're the best,
pretty close to the preeminent.
Them or Cigar Coop.
Yeah,
I would say.
Because the funny thing is,
aficionado.
The funny thing is, I went to aficionado to kind of corroborate some things, and I'm not sure who's. I don't want to who's copying who, but the exact same stories at the exact same times, came out. So there was no real.
I know that a lot of times with stuff like this which when we're talking laws and regulations and everything, it's different. But with press releases and whatnot,
companies it's all coming out
send them out
to the same everybody
at
the same time, and everybody's reporting it out in the same time. Yeah.
But the thing I like about Half Wheel is usually Minato will do a write up about his thoughts, and he'll give 5 to 7 thoughts on this topic and give some different perspective. And I think that perspective is really important because for whatever reason, the cigar industry, in my opinion, is always doom and gloom reaction. It's always over-exaggerated, and it's like people kind of lose sight or don't have perspective. And I always appreciate Minato kind of summarizing everything, giving all the points, and then letting you make your own decision.
Yeah.
Because I remember when the tariff stuff started happening, it was doom and gloom. I remember when FDA regulations were announced years ago, it was doom and gloom. And thankfully for us, it's worked out so far, but it could have an impact, which is what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. All right. So before we get into everything, a couple things. I want to recap a couple things. One is, if you're listening to this, we've made the announcement for the Pipe and Pint Invitational, our golf tournament, September 29th, Monday, Bryant Park, Greensboro. Wildly popular event, probably, if not most likely, our most popular and high demand event.
It's my favorite event.
Yeah. 25 to 28 teams, roughly 100 guys. It is basically full right now. Sans maybe 3 or 4 teams.
Yeah.
We haven't even actually texted it out yet, which I'll probably do at the end of this week, just by our email and social. So many guys are returning. So if you are listening to the podcast, you are interested in doing that, reach out and get with us on that. It's always a great time. Bunch of cigars included, cookout afterwards included,
Beer.
Tons of raffle stuff, beer, the whole 9 yards. Like, it's an awesome day. The other thing is we had Cigars in the Park last week.
We did.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
That's another one of our most popular events every year. Greensboro Grasshoppers are gracious enough to let us set up in left field, get a nice spot for us.
Thanks to Foundation for sponsoring this
Shout
year.
out Nate, Nick,
coming out.
Nathan, and all the guys.
Brought out the new Foundation event-only cigar, the
Yeah.
1810. So there were a couple customers lucky enough to get that.
Yep.
Super limited. Got to buy a box to get it. And, I think he had like 8 or 10 3-packs, and they all got gone. So for those 8 or 10 people that got it, congratulations, because that's the only way you can get that cigar.
Yeah, only way you can get it. I'm super curious, too, because I haven't had a chance to smoke it. You did, thought it was pretty good.
Yep.
But, they're a great partner of ours, so we really appreciate it. And so are the Grasshoppers. We have talked about doing something like this. And for those unfamiliar, what we do is ticketed event. We get a nice setup in left field, shade, umbrellas, the whole 9 yards. We're allowed to smoke cigars out there. Your cost gets your ticket into the baseball game, your gift of cigars, as well as cookout while we're there. And it's a great time. We had about 70, 75 people, which is one of our largest turnouts for that. That's about what they can hold in that spot for us, so we kind of maxed it out. And weather was beautiful. The game was good. It's a great time just to let customers hang out, maybe meet some people that they haven't met before. We have a few people from every store, basically, say it's the Southport store, come up for it. And you get to smoke cigars, drink beer, and watch baseball. Like,
Not
fun.
much better than that.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. So shout out to those guys who are great partners with us. And like I said, we've tried to do it at some other baseball stadiums, and the fact that the Grasshoppers are still open to letting us smoke out there, we really appreciate it. We obviously keep it clean, keep it respectful, but it's a spot where we're not bothering anybody or anything like that. So it's a whole lot of fun. All right, so what are you smoking for this episode?
So I'm smoking. All right, so after the last episode or the episode before that, or maybe both, after dogging Viaje for their Summerfest debacle, I'm going to call it.
Yep.
I feel like we needed to highlight them and give them a little redemption.
Give them a little love.
So I'm smoking the Zombie Biohazard Green. This cigar will always hold a special place in my heart. I'll never forget, before I was working at the shop in 2013, the Pipe and Pint was one of the 4 lucky stores that got selected to have a zombie event that year.
Yep.
So Andre came to the shop. At the time, the way it worked was only 4 stores in the country got it, and you got 50 boxes. And you got 50 boxes of the green or the red. We had the green that time. I unfortunately missed the event, but I was close with the guys at the shop, and so they actually sold me the cigars before the event, and I was able to smoke it and try it because I was going to be out of town.
Yep.
And I loved it. I always loved this cigar. This is the box press version of it. They call it Biohazard. I don't know if the blend's tweaked or not, but I smoked this when I was at the beach with my family and absolutely loved it. Now, unfortunately, we're sold out of this almost everywhere except here in Durham, I think. I'm pretty sure. I know we're out of them in Greensboro. I'm pretty sure High Point and Winston are out of them. So if you want one, you may have to come to Durham to get it. But if you're listening and your local shop has them, the green specifically, because there's a green, a red, and a black, different wrapper leaves.
Yep.
The green specifically is spectacular.
Nice. And I have...
Hey, you caught me off guard
Yeah,
there.
a little bit.
Yeah.
It's funny because I know how good it is all the time, and I don't gravitate towards it because I know how good it is. So I'm smoking a Padron Core Series, the natural, the 4000, which is essentially the Toro size. And I feel like sometimes I don't overlook it in the humidor, but I look at it like, all right, I know that's good. And then I just kind of meander and try. And sometimes I get in a glut where it's the same thing over and over again. But
I've told people multiple times, if every cigar company that I loved that came out recently went away, it would suck. But Padron Core would still be there, and it would be just fine.
yeah,
Because it's consistent. It delivers. It's good price point. It's a great cigar, and it's worth smoking at least once every month or so, just to remind yourself this is why Padron is Padron.
Yeah. It could be the best value in our humidor as far as quality of cigar to price. There's some other, like we talk about Charter Oak being a great value in some others, but this may end up being what leads the pack, in my opinion.
I don't know that I have an argument against that.
Right.
I think it's interesting, too, because it is their only core line, right? Well, not sort of, right? 64 and 26 and Family Reserve are all technically core lines, right? They make them all the time.
Yeah.
But they're expensive, and they were meant to be.
They always feel like an anniversary or a limited release.
Yeah, and they call them anniversary lines, right? Padron Core Series, like, it's probably a top 5 core line all time, if not number 1.
Sure. It's
realistically
simple. It's subtle, like nice. The boxes are, wood boxes, nothing fancy about them. Logo, very simplistic band. The wrapper, in my opinion, super rugged. It's as toothy of a wrapper that I'm aware of. I mean, you could probably tell me some others that fit into that vibe, but
the one interesting thing about that cigar and all Padron cigars, they don't triple cap it, which I would love to know why, but it doesn't really matter because the single cap, even if it falls off, the cigar stays together somehow. But it is fascinating that they don't triple cap.
But I guess that's a testament to them and their quality of what they do to be able to produce it without,
I will say,
adding to it.
I've had Padrones burn uneven. I've never had a Padron that didn't draw or didn't burn.
Not that I can remember. I don't know. We don't have customers bringing them back, or hey, this split on me, or this unwound, or this is not drawing. Like, I cannot think of a single time that's ever happened.
I would love to. I think the box pressing has something to do with it.
You think so?
I think my biggest complaint I've ever had with a Padron is sometimes they're a little underfilled, and it's very rare. It's very rare, but sometimes they're just a little underfilled and they burn a little quick. But the flavor on them's still good and it still burns. And honestly, I'd rather have a cigar that's a little underfilled that burns quick and still smokes than overfilled that doesn't draw.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so that's what I'm smoking.
What are you drinking? I hadn't really been drinking much alcohol because I've been trying to lose some weight.
Yeah.
So I've been on my seltzer waters, so we hadn't featured any alcohol here recently.
This is not really a feature. It's been on before, but I have the Sycamore Mountain Candy.
Mountain Candy, it's classic.
Can't go wrong with it.
It's classic.
Sycamore Brewing, shout out. Charlotte. Charlotte's their home, their base, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, it's a classic. It is getting to be bourbon season, though. That's a dangerous thing.
You gonna be breaking it out on a pod?
Maybe.
A slow sipping.
I don't know, man. I'm a lightweight now. I'm a glass of bourbon. I'm ready to go to bed.
Yeah. It's bourbon season, and it's football season. It's football season, and we've added larger TVs in here. We got the big boy over there. We put a new one in the corner.
It's good for my marriage that this place is an hour from my house. I'll put it to you that way.
Yeah, that may be for a future episode where you regret saying that, though.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
All right, let's do it. So here's what we're going to do. You've got your notes and kind of what we're doing. This could be necessarily in this order, necessarily, but I'm going to break out the computer real quick, and then we're going to talk about some of the things. So fill the dead air for me for a second.
So cigar releases that are coming up. I'll talk about that real quick.
Oh, yeah. Let's go over those real quick.
Because it's funny. With PCA being moved to April a few years ago, the cigar releases come much earlier in the year. So we've seen a lot of the big stuff that we talked about. Legacy, Blue, the Wise Man Lanceros just came out. But there are a few things coming out soon. Just recently shipped the Tatuaje, my favorite, Corojo, T110, Cojete, and Avion. So this is another play on wrapper leaves. So it's all Corojo, which was the same thing that was on the 20th anniversary 898, the 7th Corojo, the Pete Johnson 50th birthday cigar. It's that shade-grown Corojo wrapper that I absolutely love in 3 different blends and sizes. I've actually smoked the Corojo Cojete before. It was part of the Saints and Sinners pack last year.
Oh,
it is
this exact one?
Yes, it is
Okay.
absolutely fantastic. T110 thermonuclear. Be interested to see how it smokes on that, but the Avion's actually the one I'm most excited about because it's normally a broadleaf wrapper, but it's a really good blend, so I'm curious to see how it changes. So that should be here. New Viaje, again, coming. Skull and Bones.
Yep.
Maybe be getting a cease and desist on it. It's the Wolverine line.
Yeah.
It's
got the
Wolverine,
Logan
Logan, and
and
Weapon X.
Weapon X. What is the Weapon X?
I'm 99% sure Weapon X is the Wolverine clone that he fights in Logan, like the
Okay.
movie
Yeah,
Logan.
yeah, gotcha.
Great movie.
Well, excellent.
Yeah, so we got those coming. They should be here probably late next week or early next week, if I was guessing. The one that I don't know when it's coming.
Ezra might be here today.
Yeah, the one that I don't know when it's coming is Rocky Patel 30th, which I'm actually really excited for. The one that we smoked at the show was really good. Really good.
I've almost forgotten that that's coming yet.
They said it was coming this month, and it hasn't shipped. And it's the 27th when we're recording this, so I'm assuming it's not.
Yeah, I'd give that an
Yeah,
October
and
release.
then as of yesterday, just recently announced, probably going to be our next best-selling cigar for this year, Nicarusa Shade. Which, interestingly, I didn't talk to you about this yet.
Yeah.
So when they announced the press release for this, I think they'd gotten a little pushback because the last 2 cigars they'd done in Freestyle Live were both flavored. It was Girl with No Name and Deadwood Dominicana. So they said to everybody, this is all about Nicaraguan, purely Nicaraguan. Well, the blend has Dominican tobacco in it.
Does it really?
Yes, I'm pretty sure I read that it's a shade wrapper with Nicaraguan. I think it's a San Andreas binder, but then like Nicaraguan, Dominican, and maybe some other kind of filler to it. So I don't know. But we smoked it from the kit, the Freestyle Live kit. I thought it was really good. I said it was a great $8 to $10 cigar. I was a little concerned it was going to be more than that. Lo and behold, it's going to be another great value Connecticut. And I think it's going to sell really well.
I think they have. So, are the last 3 freestyle releases in this order? Is it Girl with No Name, Deadwood Dominicana,
And then Shade.
and then this Shade Nicarusa? It's, you hope when you release a cigar that it's going to be popular and it's going to sell well and everything like that, but this is like 3 home runs in a row would be my guess.
Yeah,
Because Girl with No Name has sold well.
Yeah, and it's funny because that was the one people were most excited about. And out of the 3, now we hadn't gotten Nicarusa Shade. This is an assumption. But out of the 3, my guess is it would be the least best-selling, but we still sell a buttload of them.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating.
Dominicana has been an absolute
Gangbuster.
smash hit.
Gangbuster.
And I think this Nicarusa, because correct me if I'm wrong, but Nicarusa Adobe was also a freestyle kit release, correct?
Yes.
It was one of the early ones, one of the
It
initial
was.
ones, I feel like. I don't remember them all. I know that there was a
UC10, H99, 20 Acre Farm, Adobe, Blackened, maybe Blackened Shade.
Blackened Shade was, yeah.
And then Girl with No Name, Deadwood Dominicana, Nicarusa Shade.
It's
putting out bangers. And
let's say they have a huge following. Yeah.
Yeah. When I say bangers, I'm not saying they're my favorite cigars. When I say bangers, I mean they put out shit that sells.
That fits
and
their
that's
market.
all that really matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, it fits their market, fits their customer base or whatever it is. From all scopes, right? The flavored people to the, the UC10 and the Blackened are for that traditional full cigar smoker. The Shades, obviously, you know who those for. And the flavors, you know who those are for.
And then, not to continue on with new cigars, but I think there is. Sorry, I was cutting my phone on Do Not Disturb. People are blowing it up. There is one thing that we haven't talked about on the podcast. I don't think that I feel compelled to mention the
Okay.
most exciting cigar of the year, dare I say, our brand new Pipe and Pint Connecticut and Maduro bundles, now made by Aganorsa. Some of our best friends in the industry, making some of the best cigars in the industry at a value that cannot be beaten.
Cannot be matched. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, the Wiz couldn't even beat these prices.
Yep.
Listen, like, you're a cigar smoker, you're listening to this pod, you go into your cigar shop, and the odds are that that shop, depending on the size and their ilk, has their own personal, what you would call shop blend. Not necessarily maybe like a line or a brand like we do with La Colonia, but a shop blend with their name on a band as theirs. And we've had that for quite a while. And we're not going to name names, but the company we were doing business with before, the relationship started out really, really good. The cigars were good.
Unfortunately, when you work with a company that doesn't have the manufacturing power to make their own cigars and they're contracting with other people, they only have so much authority and ability
wiggle room
to
and
fix
customization.
problems
Yep.
and actually have the control over the manufacturing process.
Yep.
I think that was a very political way to say it.
It's a very political way to say it. The reality is that the quality control and the availability had just pushed us to a point where we had to make a decision on what we were going to do. And we knew that not having something like that was not for us. We needed that. It's a price sensitive thing. It has our band on it. And it had gotten to a point where when we're selling those with our name on it and they're having those type of issues, like it or not, whether those issues are out of our control, that directly reflects on us, right? Like,
It's got our name on it.
Yeah, it's got our name on it. Directly reflects on us. So we reached out to our good friend, Mr. Terrence Riley,
The most electric guy in the cigar
the most
industry.
electric man in all the cigars. You've seen him on the podcast. Unbelievable dude. Reached out to him about, hey, we need a new supplier for this. You've done great by us with everything else we do together. We're partners on so many other things. It probably makes sense we be partners on this. The company fits our smoker more than the previous company did. Previous cigars were Dominican. Full disclosure. These are now Nicaraguan. Long filler cigars made by Aganorsa. And the response so far to these has been
Awesome.
unbelievably good.
Awesome.
You know, we're burning through our initial supply of them, which was a lot, by the way.
Yeah, actually, that's why I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Is Cole just texted me and said he needs more.
Yeah.
So
They're selling like crazy.
selling everywhere.
We have people who are diehards with other cigars that are box buyers, bundle buyers of other products who we've put them in their hands, said, hey, you want to try this? And the response hasn't been like, oh, yeah, it's good. Like, that kind of thing. And they go back with it. It's like, I like it a lot. What's my price on the bundle? I'm going to buy that.
Let's tell them the price on the bundle, Jason.
You tell them the price of the bundle because I don't remember. I think it's 85, 90.
80, 90, and 100
80,
bucks.
90,
That is a
okay.
25 count bundle.
Yep.
So retail prices on the cigars, Robusto. So we've got it in two wrappers, Connecticut and San Andreas Maduro. Robusto is $450, Toro is $495, Churchill is $550. The bundle pricing takes the cigars down to $4 or less per cigar.
Yep.
At $80, $90, and $100 on Robusto, Toro, and Churchill, respectively.
I was embarrassed for a second there that I didn't know them exactly. I knew the range, but I want
All right, man. I'll be your Vanna.
to ABC. Always be closing, baby.
What's the dude on The Price is Right that always talks about everything? That calls the peoples up and tells about the surprise package and the totals.
Oh, that they throw it to and it tells. What is that guy's name?
I don't
Johnny?
know. Sure, we're gonna
Johnny,
go
tell
with
me what
Johnny.
they won. Yeah.
We're gonna go Johnny.
Feels like
I'll
that's
be your
what-
Johnny.
Yeah, I appreciate that. All right, we're gonna get into it a little bit. So again, like recap, these are gonna be topics kind of all over the board, but some stuff that's happened in the business over the last 30 days. Really, all this stuff is over the last month, and we're gonna kind of bounce all over a little bit. Not necessarily gonna go in this order. So the first thing I want to talk about is actually what I've got as segment 2 and 3 on here, which is the Perdomo Legacy. So we talked about how excited we were to get it, how well it's been selling, and our expectations of what we thought the reaction was going to be to it. And Half Wheel's now done 2 reviews on it. They did the Gran Bellicoso Maduro, and they did the Toro Connecticut, correct?
Yep.
And they, I think, had starkly different reactions to each one. Let me see here because I want to make sure I'm correct here on it. Say the Maduro, they gave an 85 to, which I was a little shocked by. Now I don't smoke the Maduros.
Yeah, and I have not smoked that size either.
Yeah.
We have it, but that's not a size that I gravitate to. But I was, dare I say, mad when I saw it, because it's one of those things where all of this is subjective and I don't need my opinion validated on it.
Sure.
But I pride myself in knowing a good cigar when I smoke it, and I know that's a good cigar. So seeing an 85, I was like, these people have lost their damn minds.
So in the crux of, you kind of get, depending on who reviews it with Half Wheel, you kind of get the synopsis in their final overall score and their kind of last little paragraph about it. And I'll read you the first sentence, 2 sentences here. It says, I find it incredibly frustrating when during the review process a blend shows me just how good it can be in one cigar and then how not so good it can be in the next. Something I experienced with the Perdomo Legacy Maduro Gran Bellicoso. Now, this is something you do see with Half Wheel, right? Because they do 3 cigars, if I'm correct, every time to give it a fair shake. Yep. If they just did one and that one was just a 1 out of 100 bad situation, you don't want that to be your lasting memory, or vice versa. So we've seen this. I don't want to say issue because that's not fair. That suggests that they're doing something wrong, but that the cigar can be directly affected by one of the 3.
Yes, and
right?
the other thing I will say about Half Wheel, and I don't blame them for doing this, construction plays a massive amount into their score.
Into their score, yep.
And they seem to be very anal about construction as well. So if a cigar gets an 89 on there, but it says they had a couple touch-ups, to me that cigar's flavor-wise could be a 91, 90, 91.
Yeah, yep.
But I think with this 85, I do think it was construction issues. I really think that this cigar, at least from what I read, and you may be sharing a little bit more, was probably closer to an 89 or so, at least for the Maduro, maybe even a 90. But they had one bad instance that pulled the score down a lot.
Yeah, and in this one, the reason I think it got an 85 and maybe not like an 89, because combustion issues in 2 cigars weren't great to discover and certainly didn't help in the cigars case, which is super interesting because we talk about this in almost any podcast that we've discussed Perdomo specifically, that we just don't experience construction issues.
Ever.
And that's not to say that that's not the case, because they very, very well did, and I think goes to play in what the Connecticut did. But
I do think, or I wonder if, because this is a size that Perdomo has not made before, if this was a byproduct of that.
Of that, correct.
Of a lack of familiarity with the size and the rollers making that size and bunching that size and everything. I do wonder.
Yep. So you then go to the Legacy Connecticut, and they smoke the Epicure, which is Toro.
And this was Charlie, who, in my opinion, is the hardest reviewer of the 3 of them.
Yeah, so Charlie did that one. And
I think Patrick did the other one.
Let me see. Yeah, Patrick did the other one. All right, and that they both do a great job. So that's not saying one over the other, but Charlie did this one, and right off the bat. So before I kind of tell you, if you haven't seen it, what the score is, but I love this cigar.
Yeah.
I really, really, really like this cigar. I think they do an awesome job with Connecticut's. Perdomo does. I think they do an awesome job with Nicaraguan Connecticut's, which I think are such a different animal than a Dominican Connecticut because of the flavor profile and everything like that. And then this, adding in this shade-grown hybrid piece of it, which I believe is in the binder of the non-shade grown wrapper ones.
Correct.
Okay. A 91 on this one. And not only is a 91 because they did 3, they had one that they describe as a letdown. And again, let me read the first sentence of Charlie's synopsis at the end here. It says, while the third Perdomo Legacy Connecticut Epicure was a bit of a letdown, even the worst example was still a good cigar. Especially for the first 2/3, the first 2 cigars were excellent, and the collective experience of the trio is great. And then at the end, it's one of the best new cigars I've reviewed this year. Just budget a bit more time to finish the cigar than you might expect. And I really think that was more of what I was expecting coming out of this line.
Me too.
Because I do believe that this cigar, in one iteration of the other, what wrapper it is, I don't know. I think it would be the shade grown, is going to show up on best of lists at the end of the year.
So so here's the thing. I still think, and there have been a lot of great cigars to come out this year. I'm standing by my statement that this is the best new cigar to come out this year. I will stand by that.
Yeah, I agree.
But there have been a lot of great cigars, and there's been a lot of cigars we haven't been able to smoke.
Yeah,
If
plenty
this
of time.
cigar does not make the consensus, which is the compilation of lists from 50-plus review websites and blogs and Cigar Aficionado, if it does not make the top 5, I will riot.
Riot, you say?
Riot in the streets.
Yeah, and again, we can't, we've harping on what the aficionado list looks like because they go from cigars that were made in prior years, which I don't understand or anything like that, because we've talked about how the aficionado list, if last year's cigar was number 1 and it was from the past, why is it not number 1 this year? Why is it not number 2 then, or whatever it may be? So that logic never really, kind of calculates. But consensus the Half Wheel consensus list takes in a myriad of different websites and publications that pump out a list. I think they include like their own top 25, which they do.
YouTubers,
YouTubers, and anything out there
that's
power ranking cigars for the year.
Yep.
And I would say most lists have a tendency to gravitate towards the new cigars, like top 25 new cigars of the year.
We could come up with a list and get on there.
Yeah, I think we should.
That's a good
I mean,
idea.
if I think that's a put our money where our mouth is type of thing. If we're going to knock some of these lists, then we should participate in
making a top 25.
What we believe. Yeah, at least a top 10. What we believe that these things should be.
Agreed.
Maybe it may be tough to come up with top 25 brand new stuff.
Just because we don't
do a
have
top 10, new cigars of the year and stuff like that, because you might not necessarily have 25 new things to us.
Correct.
You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Correct.
And I'm not going to rate or review something I'm not really willing, giving a try or can see the sales to and stuff like that. But this ranking is more in line with what I think it's going to be. And I think if that third cigar isn't a quote unquote little bit of a letdown, I think this cigar probably comes in that like 93 range.
Yeah, I agree.
92, 93, 94.
It will most certainly be
and
on
that's what's
Half
that's what's going to take to get that from them. They don't.
Yeah.
They do a good job of not just handing out a big score. They take their time with it. It's going to have to be 3 cigars that are all 3 of them are bangers. Yep. All 3 of them give you that same experience.
I don't Half Wheel review so many cigars, and I can't remember everything that they've given 90 or 91 or above to this year. But with the way that they like Connecticut's, Hoya Antonio Connecticut was the number 1 for them. The Quattro or the Hoya Numero Uno was a number 1 for them. I wouldn't be surprised if this wasn't a top 3.
So
for them this year.
I'll rip a few off for you. Okay, just going by. This is just ranked, sorted out on their website based on release date, and I'm not sure how and when they update these things because the Perdomos are not showing up for some reason. But this is all I got to go by. So, In August, they did the Tap 50th Toro. That got a 90. I'm not going to go through everything, but things that kind of stood out. Aladino 85 Anniversario Reserva Robusto got a 91. The 2025 Pork Tenderloin got a 91. Let's see, CAO, the new Amazon Basin
Yeah, the dagger.
got a 90 from them. And I'm going to go with things that kind of got 90s or above. The Padron Hammer and a Dream, which I think that's
an exclusive
for Garofalo, maybe? Or is
No,
that the
his
Ruby
is
Red?
Ruby Red.
Yeah.
Hammer and a Dreams.
I feel like that's an exclusive for somebody.
It is. I don't remember who.
Let's see. Nelson Illustre. I don't know that one. Camp Aladino Corojo got a 90. La Gloria Cabana, the Los Gloriosos.
That's the one
Gigante.
that
Yep.
EPC makes for him.
Yep. I don't know Warfighter Night Shift. I'm not familiar with that.
That was a Redux. I
That
think
was a
that got
Redux?
a really good score,
That
too.
got a 94.
Yeah, that was a Redux, which is not eligible for their top.
And that may there
25
is
list.
an asterisk next to it, so that may be why.
Yeah.
McAuliffe Blue Toro also may be Redux. That was a 91. And let's see. The Plasencia Alma del Celio got a 91, which I'm not as high on that cigar as some people
Found
are.
out yesterday, because we've said Cello, Cielo. It is Cielo.
Cielo. Yep.
It is Cielo.
Okay.
Found that out yesterday. Talked to the folks at Plasencia.
The Viaje Oro Reserva Double Torpedo, that's a Redux from 24. That got a 90. The West Tampa Devil Crab, which were...
That was new. That was a PCA.
Yeah, that was a PCA thing. That got a 91. That's a brand that we keep circling and keep talking about. I wouldn't be surprised if you see it on our shelves at some point in the not too distant future.
No.
People ask about it. They seem to be doing really good things.
They make good cigars.
They make good cigars. The owner's an interesting cat, bro.
Bro.
Put
Bro,
my
bro.
cigars on your shelf. You won't regret it, bro.
Bruh.
Which I appreciate. I'm a bro guy, kind of. A Redux on an Opus. Dunbarton's Year of the Dookie.
Boo.
How is that pronounced?
I think it's Duke. It's the
Duke?
guy's last name.
Okay.
Chris
That
Duke.
got a 91. Padron 60th. The Natural got a 90.
Yep.
Which that's a cigar that was high up there for us. We thought it was good. EPC Encore Noir, 90.
So 91 may be, outside of Redux reviews, the best score to a new cigar this year. Tied. There's a couple of them.
Yeah, let me see. I'm going to go back and just see if anything even goes over that.
I will say, just to
that's
fill
a-
some dead space
That's a
here,
Redux.
I do think, and the one other cigar I'm curious about how they receive it is the My Father Blue. Because the blue...
I'm super eager to see them rank that.
So you found out from Jamie, who was here at the Durham store for the event, that people want the blue so bad that customers are going on My Father's websites, finding the reps' contact information, and is calling
Yeah.
the reps to find out what stores are carrying the blue. We have reordered it twice, and it's sold
we can't
out.
keep it in stock.
Yeah, the first time we had it, it sold out in a day and a half.
Yeah.
The second time we got it, it sold out in about a week. And have we had it a third time?
Yeah, we probably, yeah.
I mean, we can't keep it on the shelf. is
No,
my
no,
point.
hopefully more's coming today.
Yeah, it
You
is
know, but
fantastic.
so the only thing I see above a 91, and I'm unfamiliar with this cigar, is Matilde Special Edition. That got a 92 right at the beginning of the year.
Gotcha.
Right. So this is going to be up there. So I'm with you. The two most interesting cigars that I personally am interested in for them to review and see what it comes out with is the My Father Blue and then the shade-grown version of the Legacy.
Yeah.
The shade-grown Corojo Cameroon Hybrid Reserva Anniversary Special Edition Limited Release.
Legacy.
Legacy. Because I think that cigar is so unique for them. I could see them giving this thing a 92, 93, and I could see it being off the wall for them and not caring for it, and it giving it like an 84, 85.
It's not going to be in between, in my opinion.
I don't think it's going to be in between either. I don't think this cigar is going to be an 89 to a 90. I think it's either going to be really good or it was not for them. I gravitate to, I think it's really good. Part of it could be that I'm a little bit blinded by that it's so different, in my opinion, than what Perdomo's done in the past, that it's unique and different, and like that it catches you off guard a little bit. But those by far are the two that I'm the most eager to see. Now they did, again, I don't know how this review list gets in here because I had it sorted by date, but I think they gave, which we had in, actually we could talk about real quick, the LFD 30th.
I smoked it.
Was in, and they gave that a 90 or 91, I think.
I think it was an 89.
It was an 89 on that?
It was
okay,
89
gotcha.
or 90.
Okay.
But
I just don't see it in the list, and I'm not sure why.
Was it good? Yes. Was it worth waiting 2 years for? No. Was it worth $30? No.
Yeah.
It's kind of where I'm at on it.
Okay.
And now I will say, I smoked it at the shop while I was working because someone very kindly bought me one, but the person that bought it for me knows that I tuck stuff away sometimes, so they cut it and made me smoke it on the spot. And so I did have to put it down a couple times and relight it, which I think hurt. I will say my biggest complaint was the construction of it sucked. It was a steaming hot pile of garbage when it came to the construction. It was burning uneven. Like it had the opposite of canoeing, right? Or tunneling. It had one of the giant just coal embers on the end of it.
Oh, like hard as a rock.
Hard as a rock, wouldn't burn through. Like the wrapper was burning faster than the binder and filler. But the flavor on it reminded me of a really, really good Opus, and I say that as a compliment to LFD.
Yeah,
because it was really good. But it was also kind of a letdown at the same time because it had been 2 years that we've been waiting on this thing.
What was the Vitola on it? I didn't get a chance to smoke.
It's the box press chisel. It's like the chapter 1 and 2.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, which I also don't like that size personally. It's not not a fan, but regardless, it was good. Like I said, I think it suffered from the hype, right? Like in my opinion, anyways.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so we're gonna stay. Yeah. So again, those things that I'm excited about. We're gonna stay kind of in the new product category here. Something that I want to talk about that I thought was really cool. Seems kind of nonchalant, but a lot of people have talked about it, and as soon as we're able to get it, I think we'll have it. But Boveda came out with a humidor, which I think, for something as simple as a 50 count humidor that's made of wood, you're not really sure how much quote unquote innovation can be packed into it, right? And there's just years of people doing the same thing, right? It's not cheap. Let's start there, right? It's a few $100s.
It's $300 MSRP
for a 50 count humidor.
Yep.
But this may be one of those. Now, we haven't got our hands on it yet, so I'm going to be fair. This is just going based on what I see and what I like about it. It could be one of those 50 counts where I'm like, really, really good. The style of this thing, super cool. The look of it, like it is, but it isn't your traditional rectangular humidor.
It's modern, but
it has
doesn't sacrifice the essence of a nice wooden humidor.
Yeah,
right?
It's got the space built in for Bovedas, which is an obvious integration. But let's be very honest that, in my opinion, if you're not using Boveda packs or the equivalent, if you have your brand that you like, they're not the only one in the space. Totally understand. But in my opinion, if you're not using that technology to humidify your cigars, I really honestly think you're missing out.
My response to that would be, to anyone that's not using Boveda, it's the Keegan-Michael Key SNL skit with the Muppets.
Yeah.
Hey Kramer,
Yeah.
you stupid.
He's stupid. He's stupid. I mean, yeah. I mean, it is. It's like the product is so good. We sell 1 billion of them. Let's be honest with each
Yeah.
other. They go like hotcakes. We recommend them to everybody because they just work, man. You put it in there.
Yep.
You're not at risk of ruining your cigars.
Yep.
You're not at risk of having a problem as long as you're paying attention. And when I mean pay attention, like you don't have to check it every day or anything like that. Depending on the seal of your humidor, the things can really, like, listen, I tell people, like, I've got Bovedas that are going what feels like forever when you keep them like in the Pelican style travel cases because they're so airtight. Those things will stay for a ton of time.
So I think I've mentioned this before. I have a giant Tupperware storage container that has weather line sealing around the top of it that I keep all of my full boxes and cigars that I can't fit in my humidors in. When I got that thing, I put 2 of the 320 gram Boveda packs in it. I have never changed them, and I have had that thing for over 2 years now.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow.
And they are just now starting to get granular.
That doesn't surprise me, actually. You know, I say wow, but it really doesn't, because when your seal is so good on something that you know the air's not escaping, they're incredible. And I assume like you've tried or had cigars from it or tested them, made sure, and they're perfect.
That's actually that's where the most money I have in cigars is, because it's all my full boxes. When I buy a full box, I buy them to age them long term, because I want to. It's almost an experiment, right? Like I want to see where they're at, and once I smoke one and it's at a point where I want to smoke it, I smoke through pretty much the whole box. I'm not trying to save them much more after that, but that's where my tats, my LEs, like old stuff, like that is where it goes, and they always smoke perfect. Yeah, it just works. And when the kings of humidification make a humidor, you got to pay attention. And they've made one in the past, but it was very modern. It was the acrylic style humidor.
I was going to say, was it a wooden one or
it was acrylic that had the second rendition of it had cedar trays in it.
Trays in it. But everything to my knowledge that they've done previously have all been in the acrylic display style humidors for retailers.
Well, they did do some personal ones.
Oh, they did? Okay.
They did some desktop ones. Half Wheel actually said that it was one of the best humidors ever made because of how perfect the seal was on it, because it was made of acrylic. So you didn't have cedar and wood basically, expanding and contracting to mess with the seal. The problem was it was acrylic, and they were ugly, and they were expensive.
Yeah.
And when you want a humidor, especially a larger humidor that's desktop style, you want something aesthetically attractive.
Yep.
And that's what they've done with this. And the seal on it is magnetic, but it still has hinges. The design is awesome. I want one just because that is how much I believe in Boveda.
Agreed. And this, I mean, you have, if you're Boveda or Boveda or Bovada, not Bovada, but I'm not actually sure what the correct pronunciation is. I actually think it's Boveda.
Well, that's dumb. We're in the South. I'm going to say Boveda.
Boveda. But when you're them and you're going to come out with a humidor that's directly built to integrate your product into it, you need that humidor to hit. It can't be a poorly sealing type of humidor, because you then risk it reflecting on the packs themselves, which is your bread and butter, right? Like,
I want to see if they're available while you're talking.
If the packs are going faster in that humidor because of a bad seal or whatever it is, you risk people believing that your product is not up to snuff.
Yeah.
Right? And I think this has magnets,
It
right?
does,
It built into the seal to keep it nice and tight. And that's the number one thing we see with humidors. There's some great humidor companies out there like LA Blue that make really great humidors.
Yeah, but they're also
thousands of dollars. I mean, I think you're going to be able to get that type of quality in protection for your product without the $1,000 price.
I really hope so, because, there's two things, in my opinion, as a cigar smoker that you need to invest in. The first is a good cutter.
Mm-hmm.
Because a good cutter will make or break your cigar. If you have a bad cutter that is dull, you will pop the cap, you can crack your cigars. Bad.
Yeah, if you're choosing good cutter, cheap lighter, that's fine.
Correct.
Do not go the opposite direction.
I love a good lighter. I love ST DuPont lighters. But I can light my cigar with a $10 Paleo just the same as I can with a $1,200 ST DuPont lighter. But then it comes to storage. So if you're going to invest in anything, you need to invest in a good humidor. Don't be cheap. Yes, there are cheap options out there, but so many of the cheap humidors out there, they're lined with that Spanish cedar veneer, and they're made out of basically plywood. And when you season it, that veneer that's glued on the side, it can warp and everything. And it just
I would rather see you pop it in Tupperware and seal it up.
And that's what we tell people.
Yeah.
Buy a travel humidor. Like if you're trying to choose between a desktop and a travel humidor and you don't already have a travel humidor, get a travel humidor.
Yeah,
it works better.
Yeah, they do.
It's ugly. It takes up a little bit more space, sort of.
Yeah.
But it works so much better. So when it comes to the $300 price point, it's a lot, but you're protecting your investment.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the way you got to look at it.
If you spend $50 on the humidor, and that's not to say that any humidor that you spend $50 on is not good, but if you knowingly buy a humidor that does not seal, does not provide the humidity control that you're looking at, you're going to lose the money anyway in product that you've purchased.
Agreed.
And which also then affects your opinion of the product that you purchased, right? If you just force yourself to smoke through, you're like, oh, this is dry, or this exploded on me, and this split down the middle, that very well may not be the manufacturer's issue. That may be a consumer's issue with it.
I also love the size of the humidor. Now, someone who has a lot of cigars, of course, I'd love a bigger option, but for the average cigar consumer, a 50 count, in my opinion, is perfect. Because you can fit a box worth of cigars in it, and it's going to be halfway full, which means the cigars are helping regulate the humidity. Because as we talk about, you need to keep a humidor halfway full.
At least, yeah.
And I think that they will sell these just because of the name. And if they'd have put out 100 count humidors, people would have bought them and then been pissed off because they'd only kept 20 cigars in them, and it just wouldn't have worked as well. So I love the size. I can't wait to see it. I did check. They're still not available for us to order, unfortunately. But as soon as we can, I'm buying one for myself.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get one for myself as well.
I think we're going to have a couple in the shops.
And again,
I'm hoping they're out by Christmas.
Yeah, well, me too. They make a great Christmas present. Great Christmas present, because this really is going to be a quality product. And I just love that they stylistically got something that looks interesting and cool and modern.
Like, that is so my wife, I had one of the Quality Importers 20 count humidors, the lighter one, the Burl, and it was the only one my wife would let me put out in some visible area of the house, but it was still tucked under stuff. This is the kind of humidor that, especially if your wife, which most do care about the way the house looks, it's a good looking piece of furniture.
It really is.
Like, I know your wife does a lot of interior design stuff and whatnot. Like, I have to imagine she'd be cool with that sitting out somewhere because it looks really good.
Absolutely. It just, like, all the credit in the world. And obviously, the integrating the Boveda pack into it and the ability to slide it in there. They even managed that to look good, though, right? With how it's stylish, not just sticking in the bottom. It's got this cool, like, great look to it. It's got their logos and stuff. But listen, they're the leader on keeping your cigars fresh, and like, it only makes sense for them to enter that space to show you how, what that can relate to in their actual product and everything like that. So big ups to them. It's one of those kind of odd things to get excited about to see, but I really appreciate that they were obviously working very hard on what that should be and what that should look like. So, all right, next thing. Sticking on some product, something that we have now that neither of us have got a chance to smoke. We had actually thought about smoking it. We took a quick picture about it. We'll post about it this week. Wise Man Lancero.
Oh, I just
here. Oh, you did smoke
I
it.
smoked the Corojo yesterday.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
So here's before I give my take on the cigars,
okay.
and I'm gonna need you to tell me what this is if you can find it.
Okay.
These are not the same blends as the new Wise Man. They're still made by my father, and they still have the same wrapper leaves on them. But if I'm not mistaken, the binders and the fillers on them are different.
So here's I'm going to read it right from Half Wheel. Okay. It comes in a Maduro and a is it Corojo?
Corojo, yep.
Yeah. Both Lancero. So 7x40s blends are notably different from each other. The Wise Man Corojo Lancero, a Nicaraguan Puro with a Corojo 99 wrapper, fillers from Esteli and Jalapa. And then Lancero Maduro, Connecticut Broadleaf Maduro, San Andreas, Mexican San Andreas binder, Nicaraguan fillers.
So that's what it is. I think the Corojo blend is tweaked. It tasted tweaked to me anyways because the regular Wise Man Corojo is fairly medium. This one I would say was medium plus, maybe medium full. Now that could be very size related, but it felt a little bit stronger. But I'm 99% sure on the new Wise Man that it is a San Andreas wrapper with Nicaraguan binders and fillers. So the Lancero is a broadleaf wrapper,
Yep.
San Andreas binder,
Yep.
Nicaraguan fillers. Robbie smoked it yesterday afternoon. He said that if you took the band off of it, that he would have guessed it was some sort of one-off Tabernacle Lancero.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and the new one, because the new Wise Man Maduro is really good, but it's medium plus. Like it's not big spice or anything like that. He said that the Lancero, this Maduro Lancero, had a lot more spice to it, and Robbie likes strong cigars.
He does,
and he said he really liked it. So I have to imagine it's pretty damn good. I was hoping to actually smoke one on the pod and forgot to grab it before we left the store. You will love the Corojo. I really liked it. The one thing I will say too, these are made by my father, and Pepin, in my opinion, is the king of Lanceros. Pepin,
they do the best
down
Lancero.
to the weight.
Yep.
Like, if I'm not mistaken, Pepin told us one time that a Lancero should be 14.5 grams of tobacco. I think that's what he said. And every single Lancero I've ever had from Pepin, whether it be the La Promesa Lancero, this Wise Man Lancero, some old Lanceros that I've smoked before, the Tatuaje, the Escasos Lanceros, the Especiales, the Lancero, they're always bangers.
Yeah, and I quite enjoy Lanceros.
Yes.
But we know where Lanceros fall in general public popularity.
Unfortunately.
Right.
I actually had a guy yesterday, came in, I told him about him. He said, yeah, I really feel weird smoking that.
Really?
Yes, in the humidor. It was one of the cops that came in yesterday when they came in.
It's always funny to me because
he wanted broadleaf. That was the funny thing. He wanted broadleaf, and I was like, we got a new one in. It's a Lancero. It's awesome. And I hadn't smoked it yet. I just assume at this point because I have to imagine it is. And he was like, nah, I feel funny smoking
I
it.
personally would just rather smoke that than any large ring gauge cigar, personally.
Yeah, I feel... A Gordo feels more unnatural than a Lancero to me.
From a smoking ability.
standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I like Lanceros. I'm eager to try it, so I will this week. But they're one of the few, if not, well, I could, from a traditional, so you tell me, I'm trying to think back, it's the only new Lancero that we have gotten or will be getting, to my knowledge, correct? What was the new Tatuaje? Was that a Lancero or was that more of a Lonsdale, right?
It was
Yeah.
a 6 3/4 by 44.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just not a size that manufacturers are focused on, and I totally understand that.
Yeah.
If your
make
retailers
what
aren't
sells.
buying it because their consumer is not buying it, there's no real sense in making it. I totally get it. I think it's a missed opportunity to enjoy cigars to people who don't smoke them, but I get it.
I commend Foundation too for making this special, the tweaked blend, limited release, because I think it's going to be a yearly thing. I think, but but it's not the same as what the normal blend is, and so they made it special. They made it like, if you like Lanceros and you like Foundation, you need to get it and you need to smoke it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I can attest the Corojo that I smoked yesterday was awesome.
Great. I'm glad to hear it because, again, because I like the size, I like Foundation, and for them to come out with something again that's really good. I've enjoyed the new Wise Man, the switch to.
I like it too.
You know what I mean? I like the old one. I'm not gonna lie, and made by Aganorsa previously. We really enjoyed that.
I think I've used the word approachable a lot when talking about the blend. It's a lot more approachable to the most cigar consumers.
It's also, I like it when a manufacturer does something unique to what, like, I get it when you do it. It's very good to do what you do well and to do it over and over again. Like, there's something to be said for that, right? But I do like it when a manufacturer reaches out and does something a little bit different, because the Wise Man 4 Foundation is different than anything else they've done because it's made by my father, right? Now, I may be blind a little bit because I like my father's cigars a lot, right? So that may not be for everybody, because the Wise Man in general does not, I don't think, like, if you gave it to somebody blind and tell them what it was, that they would immediately scream that it's a Pepin.
No, it doesn't have
cigar.
the big...
It's not a Pepin blend. Let's be clear on that. It's, Nick is doing the blending on what everything is and everything like that, but it's still their tobaccos and stuff like that. So you get their unique vibe and feel to it, but it's definitely different than what it's starkly different than what was coming out of the Aganorsa factory for them. So I was glad to see it in. Cool to see a Lancero come in. Hopefully the consumer responds to it as well as we think it is. But that's really good. All right, new thing. A little bit on the Debbie Downer side now. And this article is specifically for Aganorsa, but this has really nothing to do with Aganorsa, but we do carry Aganorsa. I'll just give you the title of the article and we can talk about it from there. Aganorsa Leaf announces tariff price increase.
All
so
right,
if you're listening to this podcast and you've gone into a cigar shop anytime over the last 6 months, your cigars are going up in price. Different manufacturers handling it in a different way. Some are just taking price increases. Some are choosing to take tariff increases as a line item on invoices, which I personally appreciate that.
I agree.
Because
that indicates that the price is going to come down if the tariff goes away, instead of just adding it to the price.
Just adding it to it, which then if you're just adding it to it and it stays in there, it just suggests on the next one it goes up and up more. But the reality is, if you've been in a cigar shop, your prices are going up, and there's just nothing you and I, as shop owners, can do anything about it. Right?
So, when we're brainstorming ideas for the podcast, I've told you multiple times, I wanted to do a tariff podcast episode. The problem with doing a tariff podcast episode is you and I are not economists. We're not in the import game, and we do not have a complete and full understanding of the whole entire process and what goes into it. Now, what we do have is access to higher-ups at companies who can explain it to us a little bit better, explain to us where the price is going, what it's coming from.
Doc's on the pod.
Doc's on the pod. Good to see you, Doc. So I don't know that we should do a whole podcast on it, but I have some serious thoughts on this without getting political, because what I don't want anyone to misconstrue what either of us are about to say and saying that we're leaning one way politically or not. This is just statement of fact.
Yeah.
Okay. Cigars that are made in Nicaragua, the Dominican Republic, Honduras cannot be exported to America, and by exported I mean the manufacturing cannot be moved to America, because the prices would go up even more due to labor laws.
And it I don't think the average person thinks about it like that, because we're not talking like if you moved manufacturing to the United States of cigars that they would go up 50 cents. We're talking like
dollars and dollars and dollars.
dollars and dollars and dollars.
I want you to think about the. I'm going to use Tatuaje as an example.
Yeah.
Right? Pete has his Miami line that's made down in Miami. Another great example is LT Ton de Bronze down in Miami. Any cigar that comes out of those factories is a minimum of $15 retail.
Correct.
And I guarantee you that if it was made in Nicaragua,
It's a
it would be
$9, yeah.
$10,
Yeah.
$9 or $10.
Yep.
On the more expensive stuff, we're talking like the Tatuaje 898 that just came out, the Warped limited editions that came out
Yep.
last year. Yes, you're paying a little bit more for the limited nature, but we're talking $25 MSRP cigars.
Yes.
But a lot of that is because it's made in Miami,
Yeah.
right? I can't get into specifics about what I'm about to say for reasons that I won't get into, but I know people who are making cigars in Miami at certain factories, and what should cost them $2.50 per cigar is $7.
Yes. Yep.
That is their cost. That is before they pay. That is not wholesale price to us.
No.
Their cost
Yeah.
from that factory
Yep.
is $7 a cigar. So that's one problem.
And that's, to be clear, that's not you making that up. You have some intimate knowledge from people who
Correct.
are having that done and know
Correct.
what that exact price is.
Correct.
Yeah.
The other problem with this is, well, there's a lot of problems. The other thing that's frustrating about this is because the Nicaraguan government is communist, the American government does not have a good relationship with
Correct.
them, and I get it. But what's happened is the administration put out a 10% tariff flatline on everybody. There was a 90-day, basically, probation period.
Yep.
And then there were, basically, if you didn't work out a deal with the U.S., then the tariff prices were raised. So during this 90 days, we saw basically every single company, sans maybe 3 in the cigar industry, raise their prices to incorporate tariffs. Unfortunately, no one did it the exact same way. Some companies did a 25-cent wholesale raise. Some companies did line items.
Yep.
Some companies took advantage of the situation and did a 5% raise. And it's like, okay, we all know that that's not all tariff pricing.
Correct.
Which is really frustrating. And it was already frustrating because a lot of these companies had already taken their normal price increases for the year. I'm not knocking Perdomo, but Perdomo took a price increase in January that was their normal incremental pricing update.
Inflationary price increase.
Correct.
Yep.
They then took the tariff price increase, which I give them credit for. It was only 25 cents a cigar. That feels about right. That
Correct.
doesn't feel like they're being greedy. However, the Nicaraguan tariff, which is where 75% of the cigars that we sell at our shops come from, is now 18%. And these companies that have already taken 2 price increases this year have come out and said, guess what? We're taking another one.
Yep.
So now we are the ones that look like assholes for taking price increases
Well, we have
when
to.
there's nothing we can do
It's
about
just
it.
nothing we can do about it. We have to take the price increase. If you don't take these price increases as they come to you, you may think you're doing something good in the short term, but you're destroying your business in the long term because you can't continue to absorb price increases as a retailer. And then when you do decide to take the price increase to get it back to normal, the sticker shock to your consumer is so large if you've skipped a couple of these price increases that your single cigar price in the humidor increases by $1, that you alarm your consumer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing that for? It's like, well, I didn't take.
Yeah.
Well,
There's
what-
one company that's done that comes to mind, and I won't mention them, but they prided themselves in not taking price increases for about 10 years, and over the last 3 years, their cigars have gone up $3 MSRP, $4.
Yeah, so
and
they've
that
taken
has
the price-
impacted their sales, at least in our humidor, big time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And like, it can't work that way. Like, I guess, I get it. Like, you feel like you're doing something in favor of the consumer, but it all ends up working itself out of the end.
And I want to make one other thing clear, because I'm not going to give my opinion on whether or not I think the tariffs are a good thing or a bad thing for our country, because that's not what this is about
No.
at all. However, what I will say is the unfortunate thing about all of this is the person that suffers the most is the consumer.
So here's the reality. No matter where you fall on this, it does not matter to me.
No, I don't
You can
care
have-
either.
Do not care. I can only speak from this as two people who work in this business, you directly with the consumer, me on the purchasing and the retail side of it, is that the reality of it is this increased price and tariff is being paid by the person who walks through the front door.
Yes.
I mean,
And it sucks.
yeah.
Because we always pride ourselves on having great prices, especially for a brick and mortar store.
Yeah.
Matching JR's prices
Yeah.
on boxes.
To be a competitive
Like,
company, that's right.
We are not trying to take advantage of our customers.
No, we do not gouge pricing on limited stuff.
And it's
anything
that
like
we've
that.
taken that approach with these tariff increases. You know, on most of these tariff increases that we knew that it wasn't just a percentage increase where it was like 25 cents a cigar. We took that 25 cents and we just put it on top of our price for the cigar.
Yeah,
we are not taking
we-
extra margin on it.
No,
we don't want to
any
take
margin
extra
on the
margin
tariff or
on
the
it.
tax. That's right.
We don't want to be those people.
Nope.
But it's still really frustrating to see. And I will say with this, so the normal price increase, inflation, we get it. The second price increase, all right, yeah, tariffs, everything's going up. We get it. However, this third price increase,
Yep.
we have had people saying that they're going to stop smoking what they've been smoking and find something cheaper because it's getting too expensive.
So that's the reality too, from the manufacturing standpoint, is where some people are going to get hurt and some people may very well benefit from. If you're a person out there and you smoke, let's say a box of cigars a month, right? You're basically you smoke a cigar a day on that, a little less or whatever. With price increases, you're not going to stop smoking cigars.
Right.
And you're probably not going to really spend less, okay? Because you're used to spending what you spent. But what I think you are going to start to do, and again, this is opinion, but also backed up by a little fact, but because we can see consumer behavior, because we track it, is if you bought boxes of cigars, let's say that, by the time, excuse me, that you got box pricing on or whatever, and let's just say that cigar is $9 a piece, okay? You're still going to spend $9 a cigar probably. But you're just going to do it with a brand that can offer you that now versus what you had before.
Yep.
So I think when the average consumer, or the average manufacturer, says like, well, why are we down? Like, why are we not selling as many of these? It's like, well, because you've now priced yourself into an air of a different cigar.
It is funny to see because the companies that, in my opinion, took advantage of COVID and
Yep.
raised prices,
Yep.
and in my opinion, raised prices out of greed, not out of necessity, are the ones that are truly going to suffer from this because they've unintentionally priced them or are starting to price themselves out of the market because now they have to raise prices. And if they hadn't been so damn greedy, it would still be in line with what it should be worth. Now we're starting to get into the upper echelon.
Yeah,
of,
you have cigars that are priced now that were mid-tier cigars now priced in with, let's call them ultra premiums or limiteds or anniversaries, whatever it may be.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's why, I really appreciate the line item charge.
Yes.
It says like we took our inflationary price increase. Here it is.
Aganorsa, since we used their article,
Yeah,
to bring this
absolutely.
up.
That's
Aganorsa
what they
is
are
one
doing.
of those companies.
Yes, they're going to
And-
line item the charge, and if the charge goes away, they're going to take the charge away.
And we did some math, and I will say with Aganorsa, we don't exactly know the total dollar amount for what they're paying the tariff on.
Yeah,
but we
I don't
have
know.
a pretty
good idea of what their import price is. Yeah,
And this tariff price increase seems about on the nose. And
Right on
we,
the- yes,
as
agreed.
we already talked about, it
Yep.
probably is exactly what it needed to be
Yep.
to incorporate just the tariff pricing and no extra dollars.
Agreed. Yeah. So, and when you do that, you're saying to your retail partners like, hey, we have to charge this. We're being charged this. This is the world we live in currently. Whether it's permanent or not, who knows? But what they're saying is like, we're here with you, and if this goes away for us, this is going to go away for you. And if you didn't do that, the odds are you're not going to take it out.
Yeah.
So then there could be a huge discrepancy between costs of two cigars that were similarly priced.
I do think the people, the manufacturers specifically, outside of the greedy ones, that this is going to hurt the most. It's not actually the manufacturers. It's the companies that have their cigars made by big manufacturers that are like Ashton. I'm going to use Ashton as an example, right? So all of Ashton's cigars are either made by Fuente or my father, right? Well, we don't know what the agreement is and how much they're paying or anything, but if Fuente wanted to, they could take advantage of this situation and say, hey, the tariff is this, so we're raising your cigars by this much.
Yep.
Well, then Ashton, they have no say in the matter, right? They have no control over that. And so they're just going to have to eat it, and then they pass it along to the consumers. You know, Ashton has gotten so expensive, in my opinion, that outside of it being a legacy brand, I question why people still smoke it.
Agreed.
Because it's not because it's a bad cigar. It's because that cigar is not worth $17 for a Connecticut Dominican cigar when there's a lot of other stuff out there that's just as good, if not better, in my opinion. But there's a lot of companies like that, right? Like manufacturing is ran arguably by what? 12 companies in Nicaragua?
Yeah.
Probably 10 in the Dominican Republic,
Yep.
and not that many in Honduras, right?
No.
So if you're having your cigar made by someone else and you have no control over this stuff, depending on who's running the factory and what kind of person they are,
Yep.
you can get taken advantage of very quickly. And then the other thing that I wonder, like with importing and everything, like how it all works. Like if Fuente is having to pay the tariff pricing, right? And they are charging Ashton a tariff pricing for their cigars, does Ashton then have to pay another tariff pricing for their import? I don't know. It gets a little convoluted. You get where I'm going with that? Like,
Yeah,
'cause
I think that's probably more of a logistics question as to who the company. My guess is that the import. This is a guess that tariff price is probably charged to Fuente.
Yep.
And then Fuente probably
passes it
just
along.
has to basically pass it along to Ashton the way they pass it along to a retailer, and then it's up to Ashton whether that same increase. But the responsibility for the tariff, because it's going to be Fuente who's probably bringing it into the country.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I will say there's a couple companies that have positioned themselves really well. My father's the one that comes to mind because what my father can do, since they have a factory in Honduras now that's right across the border from Esteli, they can take all of their cigars from Esteli over to Honduras and then ship them from Honduras to America and only get charged 10% instead of 18%.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know what. Yeah, and I don't know what the realistic process is for them taking them from Nicaragua to Honduras if there's a tariff from that country to that country.
It.
So that I doubt it too, but that I don't know. So, but yeah, listen, at least I can say when you come into our humidor and you see that the price of cigars has increased, it's for that fact and that fact only. There's not additional. We're not taking margin on the tax increase or anything like that. So, but
it does seem like they're here to stay for a little while,
at least for a little while,
and hopefully, hope to God they don't go up again, right? Yeah. Like I said, I have strong opinions on this, so we could talk about it for hours, but I'll leave it at that. I hope that they're not around forever.
Yep. Okay. Actually, I'm going to skip that one. Here we go. So this is going to be another, we'll call it legality type of thing. that doesn't necessarily directly affect us at the moment, which I think, though, could affect, it's definitely going to affect manufacturers. And this is probably going to require some explanation, and I'll think to. If you're in the know of the cigar business, you know the cigar business is always dealing with the federal government, right? In some way, shape, or form. And for years, we were dealing with the pre-predicate cigars, the cigar list of things you have to do. Well, it just so happens the state of California, as the title reads, California approves unflavored tobacco list plans, okay? And I'm going to read you this paragraph real quick. It says, yesterday, the Office of Administrative Law approved the draft regulations that were unveiled earlier in the month with no changes. All this can be traced back to 2020 when the state legislature passed a law that outlawed the sales of most flavored tobacco and vaping products. As part of that law, the California Attorney General is tasked with enforcing the law, which includes creating a list of approved tobacco products. Starting next year, if the product is not on the list, it cannot be sold to consumers in California. In order to legally sell their products to consumers in the state, cigar companies will need to apply to be on the California unflavored tobacco list. To do so, the companies will need to do the following: $300 application fee, $150 annual renewal, submit a box of the products to the Attorney General's office, provide the Attorney General's office with basic details about the product, length, ring gauge, and such, and certify the product meets California law that bans most products from having characterization flavors other than tobacco. This is in vain what they were trying to do federally, and it's been bounced around and back and forth. We kind of thought was dead, and I'm not surprised to see a state, specifically a state like California,
Specifically California.
bring it into
Nothing's
play.
legal in California.
Yeah. So the crux of this is, while this does not directly reflect us currently, is the concern as if the California law becomes a law that you start to see in other states.
Is this the model?
Yeah, is this the model going forward? Now, you would hope that maybe if this is the model going forward, that the manufacturer has some experience going forward on how to do it and whatever it may be. But this could realize increased prices again, depending on what the cost is. But then, how much does it hurt small manufacturers that maybe can't participate or whatever it may be?
So I have one question before I give you my thoughts. I know at one point, part of this flavored ban, there was an exemption for premium flavored cigars. But the exemption required that a flavored cigar have a wholesale cost of no less than, I think, $12. Is that still in there?
That doesn't necessarily apply in this statement. That may be in the flavored tobacco list. This specifically deals with the unflavored stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So a couple knee-jerk reactions. My first knee-jerk reaction comes from a Southerner who lives in North Carolina. And why you would ever want to live in California, I don't understand, because that is stupid. But that aside, limited editions. Companies like Viaje, companies like Warped, companies like Romacraft, who come out with special products every single month almost that are one-offs, one-and-dones. They are basically dunzo in California, in my opinion.
So as it reads, it says companies have 44 to 45 days from Monday, August 25th to submit their applications to make the initial list. If a company waits to submit an application after that time, the state will not guarantee a decision before the end of the year. It says it's important because come January 1st, 2026, products that are not on the UTL will not be legal to sell in California. The state has not provided guidance to retailers about whether there would be a grace period for products retailers already have in inventory that do not meet the UTL.
God bless the retailers in California.
Yeah, and going forward also means that companies will need to submit new products to be on the UTL. The state says it will reply to those applications within 90 days, which feels fast for a government. Right.
Yeah, someone who used to work in the government. Right.
Yeah, which could create a scenario where new unflavored cigars available for sale in other states while the cigar company waits for approval in California.
So that was my thought was like, okay, so Viaje every single month is doing something new. Let's take zombies, for example. Well, let's say zombies are approved, okay? Well, he does a one-off, Zombie Collector's Edition. Same blend, different name, different size. Does that need new approval?
Yes.
Okay. Not getting it.
Yep.
Biohazard.
Yep.
Not getting it.
Nope.
You're what you're going to see in California, in my opinion, is the only companies that are going to be able to survive out there are large companies who have the capital to do it. And basically, if you're a cigar smoker in California and you're in the boutique and geeky world, you're going to be ordering your cigars online if you can find a retailer that will ship to you. Because I think that if a cigar is not legal to be sold in California and a retailer ships it to you from out of state, that they are then in violation of California law and could be prosecuted if they get caught.
However, just because a store is not in California doesn't mean it won't be subjected to the new rule. As the law is written, if a consumer buys cigars from an out-of-state retailer and has cigars shipped to a California address, those products will need to be on the list.
There it is. I didn't know that. That was just a guess.
Yep.
So if you are a cigar smoker in California and you want limited editions, you need to stop because you ain't getting them, in my opinion. Because why would you, right? Like, why would a manufacturer waste their money and time to get the product approved in the state just to be able to sell it? I just don't think it makes sense. Because here's the thing. It's not $300 for the company. It's $300 per line.
Per line.
Right? My father has what? I don't know, 20 lines?
Yeah.
So that's what, $6,000 right there?
And I don't know if it is per line or per size. Because it says that provide the Attorney General's office with basic details about the product, such as length, ring gauge, weight, and quantity.
If it's per size, that's insanity.
Yeah. Insane.
I mean...
So, yeah, like I said, the biggest question is whether this is going to be a model going forward. My guess is it will be for certain states that already have tight tobacco laws.
Yep.
You know, that may not be North Carolina. Who knows? It may very well be. It could be. Who knows?
You know, I am very much so obviously anti-regulation when it comes to this because this is what puts food on my table.
Sure.
But with that being said, the cigar industry has been very lucky over the years and has avoided scrutiny from the government because they have had much bigger fish to fry, right? At first it was cigarettes. Then when the deeming regulations happened, I think the cigar industry got really lucky because vape became a thing.
Yep.
And they had to get vaping regulated. Now it's nicotine pouches and other nicotine products that they're worried about. And now the government is much more concerned with food additives and things like that.
Yep.
The other thing that they have going for them, or we have going for us, I should say, is that the government, because of Doge, is they're low on people, right? Like the federal government specifically. So when you don't have the manpower to enact these things, priorities get shifted and certain things come into focus and other stuff gets put on the back burner. The problem is at some point those things are going to come off the back burner.
Yep.
And cigars are one of those things. And so while I don't agree with everything that they do, organizations like PCA and CRA and CAA that are advocating for cigar rights on Capitol Hill are incredibly, incredibly important and need to be supported.
Yep. All right. Last topic. Okay, so this is my last topic. It's a little bit different, and I don't know if you saw it on the notes, and there's a reason I want to talk about it a little bit. So Cigars International announced 2 new stores.
Yes.
Okay. Orlando and Kentucky.
Yep.
And the Kentucky one, although it's in Kentucky,
It's right next to Ohio.
yeah, for all intents and purposes, is for Cincinnati.
Yep.
Right. In those unfamiliar with the CI stores, they're large mega stores, hospitality type
like a
of
cigar
things.
Walmart supercenter.
Super centers, but they have bars and seating areas and the whole 9 yards. And the reason I want to talk about it for a minute is because it may not be for why you think it is. I don't know. The reason I want to talk was I think this is the way cigars are headed from a shop standpoint, from a brick and mortar location. Now, a lot of people who are listening are familiar with CI from their web, presence, but they have these stores. How many stores? Let me see. They've got roughly
Like 11, 12?
3, 6, 9, 12, 15,
Okay.
including these 2 new stores. Predominantly in Texas, Pennsylvania, and Florida. This one's in Kentucky, but again, we really services Cincinnati, Ohio area. They had a Missouri store announced, but they ended up actually scrapping the Missouri store not too long back. We are in a unique spot now because we have this new Durham location, which falls more into the similar type of concept that these stores are in, right? And I think that you're going to see more of this style of cigar shop going forward.
So your argument
Personally.
is that the cigar industry brick and mortar store is moving more towards a hospitality model than a retail store.
I think you're going to have the retail as always, but I think the hospitality piece of it is an increased piece of the puzzle than it was before. Now, like this, cigar lounges and cigar bars were never not a part of it, but I feel like in the past, you either had a cigar shop that you went to, which may or may not had an area to smoke in. Maybe you smoked right out in the main floor of the place. Maybe like we have a couple of other our stores that you have just a room that fits 6 to 8, 9 people or whatever it is. And then you had on the opposite side, you had very upscaled cigar bars, cigar lounges that were dress coded, dark ambiance, places to smoke a cigar, but really for cocktails and such. And maybe their humidor was very limited and had small selection. Maybe, price was a premium. Now, this is just personal opinion. This has a little bit to do with the fact that we are in this space now. But that I think you're seeing with the expansions of CIs, you have Casa de Monte Cristos, you have some other places. We know of other people who either have opened concepts similar to that or participate or are thinking about opening concepts to that. And I think the marrying of the cigar bar lounge with the larger formatted retail, whether it lasts forever or is a cyclical piece, I think is something you're going to see more and more of.
So that was going to be my one qualifying question for you. Do you think this is a byproduct of COVID shutdown and the desire for people to want to have somewhere that they can congregate?
I think this is a combination of many things, but I think the COVID explosion probably plays the biggest role in it all, where we saw a huge influx of people who wanted to hang out, have a place to go to smoke cigars that offered more than just
A lounge.
just a place to sit and stuff like that. And they're all, that's not to say that those places aren't going to exist or anything like that. I just think that you're going to see a new emphasis on marrying the two things, where you can go into a place like we have here and get the same kind of unmatched pricing on the product along with the hospitality piece of a place to come and enjoy the product that you bought as well.
So I agree with you, but I have other thoughts on the matter that I'm sure you probably will agree with.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Cigars International is owned by Scandinavian Tobacco Group. Scandinavian Tobacco Group is the largest conglomerate of premium and really, I think, tobacco
in general,
products in the world. Okay. CI owns, or STG owns, brands such as Cohiba, Macanudo,
So I'll tell you right
CAO,
I'll tell you right now.
Partagas, Punch, La Gloria Cubana, Diesel, Alec Bradley, Room 101,
Yep.
Odyssey.
Yep. STG, owns Thompson Cigar,
Thompson's.
Cigar Bid, Cigar.com,
that was just cigar brands,
Pipes and Cigars, Club Macanudo. But the brands, you got Cohiba, the non-Cuban versions, Cohiba and Partagas, Alec Bradley, CAO, Macanudo, Room 101, and others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's my problem with this. Specifically, the Kentucky store.
Yeah.
Okay. If you have a company that owns all these brands, that also has a stronghold on the online market with CI and Thompson's, especially the discount retail online market with Cigar Bids, that is now deciding to open superstores.
Yep.
The one in Kentucky is less than a mile away from Party Source.
Yeah.
Which is,
To
my knowledge, the largest retailer of cigars in Kentucky, or at least was.
Yeah.
Which tells
And
me
probably in Ohio as well.
that STG don't give an F about nothing.
Yep.
And is willing to put one in any market that they see fit. And that should scare the shit out of any retailer that is in a large cigar market.
Yep.
Because STG has the money to come in, build the nicest space you've ever seen, and then undercut you and not give a shit.
Correct.
And that is what concerns me about this. Like, I feel for Party Source.
Yeah.
Because they've been the only... I'm sure there's other cigar shops up there. I've never been to Party Source, but I have to imagine they were the
I've
biggest
talked
game
about
in
this
town.
on the podcast. Creekside Cigars, which is a brand new lounge, which has gained a bunch of popularity on social media, a bunch of cool guys running it and stuff like that. They're on the east side, northeast side of Cincinnati, but for all intents and purposes are competing in that same market.
And, I think the good retailers like Creekside, I've never been to Creekside. I just see what they do on social media. They seem like they got their act together.
Yep.
They seem like good dudes that are good retailers. I think they'll be fine because they have a bit different business model. They're going to have a more boutique selection. But, I could see Charlotte getting a CI Superstore, and it put a hurting on Craig Cass, which is an wild thing to say, because for those who don't know, Craig Cass, to my knowledge, is the largest retailer of cigars in North Carolina.
Yeah, I think so.
He is a TAA member. He's on the board of TAA, I think. I think he's been on the board of PCA before. He's been around for a long time.
He's
and
a heavy hitter.
A lot of cigars.
Yeah.
But if a CI Superstore went into Charlotte and they could get cigars cheaper, because that's the thing, right? Like CIs, JRs, they're not incorporating tobacco tax and all that into their products. They also have the ability to run deals in stores using free product and better margins that they're getting from buying in bulk. To undercut competition, right? Like at our stores, we know we're not the cheapest price, so we make sure that we focus on the relationships and the perceived value that our customers have by coming in, knowing that we're always going to be there for them. We know their palate. Make yourself at home. Like this, they feel welcome here at the shops. But if you're a retailer that has your priorities put in the wrong places,
so
you are in a heap of trouble.
And that's my biggest point. If you're a retailer and you're not paying attention to this and not paying attention to how you handle customers, handle pricing, whatever it may be, or not participating in or understanding what's going on, you're going to find yourself in a predicament. Now, is CI going into every single market? If you have a doing shop in a medium-sized market or stuff like that?
Right. I don't think we're going to get a CI Superstore in Greensboro.
No, probably not, but who knows?
But I can see one going in Raleigh.
Right, yeah.
We certainly see one in Charlotte.
Yeah.
We've obviously got JRs in Burlington, so it's a proven concept.
Yep.
It's the number one JRs in the world.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got strong feelings about it because this is going to sound grumbly and like, oh, you're just mad because you're not them. But like, I don't feel like it's right because it feels monopoly-ish.
Yeah.
But there's nothing, I mean, it's the cigar industry. Nothing's really going to get done about it.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to figure out a ways to adapt and not survive, but thrive.
Yeah,
right?
you can't lay down and take it.
No. To adjust your concept, adjust your business, to do what you do well, to be able to continue to increase your revenue year over year, right? You can't, having something like that move in on you and then just be like, oh, well, it is what it is.
It's been fun while it lasted.
Yeah. I mean, and maybe that's, maybe somebody's in that position or whatever. We don't want to find ourselves in that position. And it's a reason that we continue to do different things to help, gain new customers, but also to provide our existing customers with the best service, the best pricing that we can do. Otherwise, turning a blind eye to all of that is just not going to do you any good. Yeah. It's a nice little Debbie Downer for the end there, right there.
It's Debbie Downer.
Debbie Downer.
We shall prevail.
All right, Bob, that's what I got. You got anything you want to, any parting words, anything you want to get before we get out of here?
I think we hit all the, I did forget one cigar I wanted to mention that should be coming soon.
Oh, yeah.
And on a high note, Foundation 10th anniversary.
Oh, yeah. When do we know anything about?
Sometime next month.
Okay, gotcha.
I think.
Yeah, that's going to be, not only is it going to be a good cigar, that's going to be a popular big-time cigar.
Yeah. No, so keep an eye out on social media for that.
I don't know what the limitations on it are going to be, what, like their box count they're making or anything like that.
We ordered it at PCA.
Yeah, I know we did.
If I'm not mistaken, they did the decorative chest box, kind of like the El Bawance 10th anniversary or 5th anniversary. So I think we've got one of those coming, and then they're doing 10-count boxes, so we grabbed some 10-count boxes.
Huh? God damn it! It's gonna be an audio only podcast. That's all right.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. All right. Well, yeah. Hope you listen to this podcast.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
I think that's
should
gonna
be
be
good.
really good.
Yep.
Really good.
Perfect. All right, buddy. Appreciate it.
As always.
Yeah, between two burns, yeah, between two burns. Come and join the convo. Jason and Ethan here to talk, yo. Chilling while we filling up the room with cigar smoke. Hey, between two burns, yeah, between two burns. This be the show that you like. We always keeping it hype. We got cigars in the mic, talking the pipe and the pint. Let's go.